Hello, welcome back to another episode of Internal Rambles. This is your girl, Rochelle. If you are new, welcome. If you're returning, thank you for tuning back in. Please subscribe to me if you have not done so. Like, comment, and share so that other people can get in on this content as well. We are here finally wrapping up season 11, Ready to Love Detroit. This is going to be the recap of the last two episodes, episode 11 and the finale. We are going to talk about episode 11, where the men introduce the women to their families, and then the finale, the women will introduce the men to their families. And then we see the singles on that bridge, and we find out who is ready to love and who, if anyone, ends up single or remains single. Okay, so let's not wait or hesitate. Let's get straight on into the recap of episode 11. Alrighty, y'all. Episode 11 was titled Engaged and Confused, and it starts off with the women back, not the women, the men back in power, and Tommy instructs them to introduce the women to their families. So, first up, Darius has his sister and brother meet Ashante and Ashley. And first off, let's just first things first, okay? We all know that Darius he's an attractive man, even though he be wearing them furs, child, which I can definitely do without. And he's definitely not little, he's a lot flashy. And he definitely be having that Beijing. But his brother was very attractive too. I definitely was singing a little "Come and Talk to Me." Okay. Anyways, but Darius has his brother and sister meets Ashante, and Ashante, she explains to his siblings that, me and Darius, we sit on the phone for hours, sometimes 2.5 hours. We be kikiing on the phone, joking. And, I really like him. And because that's your homeboy, I can talk for hours with my homeboy because that's my homeboy. But is he a love connection, Ashante? No, he is not. They also ask, Darius's sister asks, what is your faith like? That's very important to us. She says that that's also very important to her, that she prays and meditates daily. Darius's brother asks, do you drink and go out a lot? And she says that she more so does activities. She does painting, skating, etc. They seem to like that. And that they said that those are things that they could do together, her and Darius, because they are friends. They are homies. But there is no love there. Ashley comes in, and Darius's sister says that when Darius is in a relationship, if he sees a beautiful woman, he puts her to work. And I'm like, what in the PIMP is going on? What does that even mean? Like, I know Darius, what does he own? Like, I know he has like a car dealership, and he does fashion design. I guess I really didn't. I wish she would have elaborated more on what he puts them to work means. So Ashley says that she does not like that. She does not like her boyfriend, her man, being easily accessible. And I totally understand that. Like, what exactly does that mean? That whenever he sees a beautiful woman, he automatically has to interact with them and engage with them and converse with them, and I gotta work with this person. What? So the sister tries to defend this behavior, but I think that she was more so probably a part of the problem, because this is problematic, especially if you're in a long-term relationship, if you're in a marriage. You can't be talking to every pretty woman that you see there is and engaging with them. Also, the sister asks, what is her idea of submission? You know, that's one of those relationship hot topics that people always want to talk about. And Ashley says, I ain't no maid. That's what I think about submission. She also goes on to say that after the retreat, her and Darius got in an argument because she said, I'm not going to be cooking and cleaning and doing all of this. And Ashley is younger than him. And so he says, well, that's not what a 40-year-old says. And he says it in more of a crass way. But Darius did not want her bringing that up in front of his family. But, it obviously is something that still, even though they supposedly talked about it, and I think Darius thought that she may have gotten over it, it clearly is still bothering her. And the sister agrees that that was an offensive thing that he said. So ultimately, the brother and sister thought that him and Ashley would bump heads and that Ashley was guarded, but that Ashante would allow him to be himself and be who he is. I think that Ashante, yeah, because that's his homie. But in a relationship, would she be as flexible? I'm not sure. Next, we have Vince, who has his brother meet Lauren and Donna. Vince's brother asks Lauren what went wrong in her previous relationship. And as she's trying to explain, give some background information, Vince's brother interrupts her and says, don't give me the interview answer. I want the real. And it's like, pump your brakes, boo. Can you give her she's trying to tell you what happened. And I'm like, see, I can see why you and Vince are siblings, because you just as rude or similarly as rude as he is. And she's like, oh, I'm getting there. If you give me a chance, I can answer your question. And I'm like, exactly, girl. Anyways, she goes on and she says, kind of just to wrap it up and sum it up quickly, she says that she was in a relationship and she wasn't as supportive to her boyfriend. As her needs changed, he did not meet her needs, and she wasn't as supportive to him. And so her brother was like, it sounds like you were disrespectful. But she does agree, that she was. Donna comes in. He asks the same question. She says that she spoke very harshly in one of her relationships, and when she was expressing her disdain to him, and she realized that it came from the fact that she did not have a good relationship with her father, she decided to rectify that and build a relationship with her father. Vince's brother really liked that answer, and I'm like, that's pretty much similar to what Lauren was saying, and she may have gave more information and more of a meatier answer if you wouldn't have shut her down midway to her trying to answer the question. Lauren ends up leaving. Donna shares information that she had not shared with Vince previously, that she realized that she has a timeline that she would like to be engaged in 2025. And Vince is like, what, when? That really caught Vince by surprise, because like I said, she had not shared that with him previous to the meeting with him and his brother. So that was very shocking, because Vince ain't got no timeline. He's like, we'll get there when we get there. So ultimately, Vince's brother thought that Lauren was nice, but that she alluded to answering questions, so he wasn't very fond of that. Donna, he felt that Donna was a better fit, but that the con is that she does have a timeline, a pretty rigid timeline on when she wants to get married. Okay. Moving on, we have Mr. Bello, who has his brother meet his three connections. First and foremost, Bello, why at this stage of the game do you have three connections? There's no way that you should have three. But anyways, Dominique is one, Ashante, and Lauren. So Dominique and Lauren meet the brother together, and that was not a great idea because Dominique really was very aggressive during this meeting. Lauren is, just kind of going with the flow and talking, and Dominique asks Lauren, how does she still feel that she has a connection with Bello when previously she was just saying that she doesn't think that there's still a connection there. And it's like, first of all, this is an opportunity for Bello's brother to get to know the women and ask questions. Dominique, why are you asking questions? Why are you challenging Lauren? And so Lauren says, I don't really feel like I need to answer that question because that's a question that you are posing. I don't need to answer anything from you. And that's right. So Ashante comes in, that they kind of go back and forth, and between the two dates, and the brother asks why she believes that she's a match with Bello, and she's like, well, we read the same books, we be at Barnes and Nobles, and we pick. She doesn't say this, but Ashante does ask about how does the brother feel about his new child, and he says, the baby's new, but that's my niece, and I haven't met her, but hopefully I will. And this was just a point. Why was Ashante there? There really isn't much to talk about because this is not a connection either. Bello does not have a connection. I think he likes her as a person, but he does not have a connection with Ashante. Back to Lauren, Dominique, Bello, and Bello's brother. Lauren shares that she feels as though Bello made decisions too early on in the game and locked in with people, aka Dominique, and didn't allow himself to explore other connections. And that's, I do think that's true, because Dominique has been Bello's connection since very early on. And that really was it. Ultimately, the brother felt as though Dominique was too possessive, that she was overbearing and trying to breathe all of his air and not allowing anyone else breathe any air that around him. And Bella was like, really? You feel that way? Really? And it's like, child, he's so in La La Land with Dominique, he can't see no one beyond her. And which is exactly what Lauren was trying to say, actually. And Bello's brother actually felt as though Lauren and Ashante were a better fit than Dominique. But Bella was like, ultimately, I respect my brother, but, ultimately, I gotta do what's best for me. That was the end of the family introductions, and so we have a few solo dates. Donna and Vince have a quick date, and they just discuss communication. Donna still has a concern that when there's an issue, Vince is going to be aggressive. They're not going to communicate well. And then they discuss just their concerns that Donna has this really fast timeline, but they seem to be hopeful that they can work through it potentially. Ashante and Darius, they go indoor skydiving, and they basically identify that they on this date because their main ones ain't hollering back at them. And again, Darius is not a number one pick for Ashante, so we really don't have to go through this, truth be told. In the men's lounge, we are now in the men's lounge. We are now in the men's lounge, like I said. I think I said hopefully. The men are in power, and a woman is going home this episode. Vince shares that he was talking to Ashley and she was venting, was very upset about Darius, issues that he's having. He says that I don't even know why Ashley was talking to me because we haven't even been close. Vince has not been my favorite person throughout this whole season. He is aggressive at times. He is a pot stirrer. He is just a hotmess.com/org.net. And he was definitely stirring the pot in sharing this. And I don't know why. And I'm sure Ashley knows this. And so I don't know, out of all people, why she was talking to Vince. And Darius, he was upset about this. And he said, he was saying no man should know my business. He was like, talk to your mama, your brother, whoever. Why was you talking to Vince? And I agree. Like, why was you talking to Vince? Anywho, the bottom two women were Ashley and Lauren. Ashley, there's a communication issue with Darius because that's her only connection, and he feels like she pops off too quickly versus talking things out. Lauren, there's a concern that she has in the past been unsupportive in past relationships and dismissive. And at the end, Lauren was sent home. And I actually like Lauren. She has been through the fire. I mean, between issues with Vince, him calling her a B for no reason, being on the sidelines, really trying to put a lot of effort with Bello, even though he really was focused on Dominique from very, very early, and really should have just let her know that. And well, okay, I'm gonna go through, maybe not everyone, I'll say this to the end more so. I won't go through everyone, but maybe a lot of the people in my thoughts on them. But nonetheless, I liked Lauren, but she was sent home. Okay, y'all, we are here. We are at the Ready to Love episode 12. It is the finale. The women are going to introduce the men to their families, and then we're going to go to that bridge and we're going to see who's ready to love. Okay, so the episode starts off. Nephew Tommy Miles, has a brunch for the singles, and Tommy comes in and says it's time, like I said, for the women to introduce the men to their families, and then at the end of the week they will identify if they're ready to love. So Dominique asked Darius if he would do this again, and he says no ma'am, because it is hard to juggle 10 people. And I can understand that. I mean, it's an accelerated process. Even though, Darius was playing all day, I do think he did not dig deep. When it was time for them to really give deep, like share deep information, things about their past, etc., he was not willing to do that. But ultimately, overall, it is hard to date in general, but then you're on a reality TV show. It's an accelerated process, different personalities, etc. I can imagine that it is pretty challenging. Vince tries to challenge Darius's answer and says that I don't think you understand the question. So Darius is like, listen, I said what I said and I wouldn't do it again. So then Vince goes on to say, you know how Tommy says that what happens in the lounge stays in the lounge? Is there anything that did you hear anything about yourself in the lounge, and were you surprised about what you heard? He poses this question to the group. So Ashley says that she heard that she was a foodie call, not a booty call, but a foodie call. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that she likes to go out to eat, or she likes to call people up so she could get a meal. I don't know what that means. But anyways, so Darius tries to change the subject. And Vince is like, no, I want to hear. I want to know more about this. So Vince believes that Darius wants to change the subject because he was the one that told, according to Vince, Ashley, that Cardi said this about her. So Vince and Darius, they start going at it, and Vince starts really going. Vince and Darius start really going in on each other. And Darius says that you've been sneak dissing me and talking behind my back for a long time, and you are intimidated by me. And it was looking like somebody was about to throw them bows. It was about to go down. But ultimately, Bello diffuses the situation. So, Vince, like I said, he is just, he's almost like a child. Like, let me throw this little like bomb and see how it blows up. And I'm going to sit back and watch what happens. Or he's a little pot stirrer. I'm going to stir the pot because I like to just get into it with people. It's just really weird. Like, if he truly was concerned about, and this happens every season, what happens in the lounge never stays in the lounge. We all know that. But there was a better way of handling that versus being confrontational about it. Next, we have the family introductions. First up is Dominique, who has Bello meet her mother and father. And before Bello comes in, she tells her parents that Bello is Muslim. And this really takes her parents, especially her father, by surprise, because her father is a pastor, a Christian pastor. And so her father says, I'm going to have to pray about this. So Bello comes in and her father says, Dominique just told us that you were Muslim. I have some issue or concerns about that. And so Bello says, religion is a guide. We try to do our best every day. Her father is looking like, yeah. But, the mother seemed to be a bit more understanding. And so, they talk a little bit more. Ultimately, her father is still concerned about Bello being Muslim, and because her father isn't doesn't just go to church. He literally is a pastor of a church. So ultimately, Dominic says, I love my parents, but it's my decision. I gotta do what's best for me. So Ashley has her brother meet Darius, and he asks what are the red flags that he is seeing. Darius, the whole time, he just talks about and kind of in circles about communication issues. And the brother felt as though Darius doesn't really answer questions. He tiptoes, but he doesn't really get to the meat or the root of anything. And Ashley says that that's how she feels about him. He really doesn't answer questions, or he'll answer it, but not with anything substantial. So her brother said that, Darius is nice, but I'm still kind of unsure about him. Lauren has her brother and cousin meet Vince, and they ask Vince his thoughts on Lauren's timeline of wanting to be married in 2025. Vince is like, oh, that concerns me. It's a little soon. It's a little quick. The brother feels as though, there needs to be flexibility when it comes to a timeline. The cousin is like, listen, you should be on the same page. If you don't have a timeline, things can go on forever. So ultimately, I think that, the consensus is y'all need to get on the same page. Ashante has her mother and stepfather meet Darius and Bello. And her mother asks, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Darius says, basically, I see myself settling down, and some version of that. Bello speaks, I got these $1 million this, I'm building these condos, these homes. It's, his answer was solely career focused and had no answer about relationship, family, Ashante, nothing. So Ashante's mom said, I'm not sold on either of them. I don't think either of them are your match. Ashante was kind of concerned because neither of them were as confident as they usually are. Because, you can schmooze and do this and do that, but when it comes to a parents, it'd be hard to sometimes pull the wool over mom and dad. Because ultimately, Ashante ain't got have I said this enough? Ashante ain't got no connections on this show. Okay, y'all, we are on that bridge. It's time to make a decision. This part right here agitated me. So we see Ashante, and I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? We see Bello, and then all of a sudden Darius shows up. I don't think we're in season 11. This may have happened before, actually. Who knows? I've never seen 2 men show up for one person at the same time. Maybe it has happened. If it has, let me know. Ashante says, Bello, we've connected. I love your mindset. I love your mind. I like the way you think. She doesn't talk like this. For Darius, she says that she loves that they can joke. They have great conversations. But ultimately, she feels as though she was the backup connection. She wasn't their main, and so she's not choosing either of them. This didn't need to happen, y'all. Ashante should not have made it to episode 12. She should have been gone maybe episode 8. I don't even know what episode. She did not have no connection. I don't know where the connection with Darius came from. I don't know where any of these. She did not have no. I think they liked her as a person. She's very pretty, but there were no romantic connections. Bello was locked in with Dominique episode 1, episode 2. Darius, when did this happen and why? When Ashley acting up, oh, let me go see what's up with Ashante. No. And why did y'all let her say, you know what, I ain't choosing y'all? Why did y'all let her do that? Bello was looking like he was, honestly, it almost looked like he almost was going to choose her. But, I don't know if he was going to rope her with the okie doke. You wasn't gonna choose her? Why was she at the finale? More on that later. Okay. Vince and Donna. Vince shares that he really likes Donna and that if she can be okay with letting go of her timeline, he doesn't say this, and letting things happen organically, that he would like to see where things goes with her, and he chooses her. Donna says that she loves that, I don't know if she says loves, but she likes that when they have challenging times, they can communicate and get past them. And she chose Vince. So I will discuss what I think about the matches at the end. Next up, we have Dominique and Bello. I should have started with them. I don't even have to go through this. They were a match with each other from the beginning, and they both said that they knew that they were going to choose, or they felt like they were going to choose, or that the other one was meant for them from the beginning. So they chose each other. Last but not least, we have Ashley and Darius. Ashley became tearful because she's concerned that she will have to change if she gets in a relationship with him. She doesn't want to fall back into old behaviors, and she's done a lot of work and she doesn't want to lose on herself, and she doesn't want to lose that. Darius says that he respects her and the woman that she is, and basically doesn't want her to change. So they end up choosing each other. So that is that. In the reunion, it seems like there is trouble in paradise for Don and Bello, so we'll have to see what is happening with them. In regards to the couples that chose each other, I mean, I thought Dom and Bello would, I don't know if they would have gotten married. I thought that they were a good match as a couple, but trouble in paradise, so we'll see. Ashley and Darius, I think Darius is not long-term relationship for Ashley, honestly, because I don't think he was serious about being in a long-term relationship during the show. Vince and Donna, I am concerned that they are on two different paths because Donna does have a pretty rigid timeline, and also Vince, I do think, because he is so aggressive and argumentative, I do think that that would be potentially an issue in their relationship. So I don't know. I don't have high hopes that they will make it long term, to be honest. So that's my thoughts. I wanted to go back really quickly if I can find a cast, because I don't remember all these folks. And just talk about, while I'm looking this up, I will just discuss. This was a good season. It wasn't like, oh my god, this is my favorite season ever, but it was good. While I was talking, I realized they definitely didn't do some of the things that they've done in the past. Like, I don't know what they used to call I'm thinking Bombshell, but that's Love Island. I forget when they would have people come in midway, they would add new people. They didn't do that this season. And I got the cast. I kind of liked that, like just adding in people, spicing it up. But they really just kept it simple. And they was like, Tommy was like, here's 10 women, here's 10 men, figure it out. I really think they need to add in like some dating coaching, because along the way, because Tommy talks to them in the lounge, but it's like while they're going on the dates, while they're interacting, I think it would be helpful to have someone to talk to while they're having challenges, they're having disagreements, to help them be prepared, even more prepared to get into a relationship. So it was a good season. Just going over the cast really quickly, not everyone. Ashante, I liked her, but she did not have a match. I don't think that she should have made it to the end. I really liked Steven. I really wish he would have put more effort and really showed what he felt for his matches so that he could have maybe made it to the end. Because I think he definitely has a lot of potential to be good in a relationship. He just needed to put in that work. Work, 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 work. I don't even remember Diamond. Did she go early? I don't even remember her. Sorry. Oh, Christina. I didn't see her in the. I'm sure she probably is there. I didn't see her in the reunion. I really liked Shannon. I would love to hear her point of view in the reunion of everything. Oh, Xavier. I would like to know what he thinks now that everything is said and done, because he was just like, I'm not communicating with anyone very much. And I'm okay with that. So that's it. That is. Oh, let me flesh that out. I wonder, do he regret that he kind of dropped the ball on the dating experience? He could have been doing a lot more. But that's it, y'all. That is season 11, Ready to Love. I like the season. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I don't know what my next reality recap is going to be. I haven't seen anything that I'm interested in or that I would want to recap. I know sometimes that they end one season and then a couple weeks it'll be a new one, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't recap the reunions, so I won't be doing that. But that's it, and we'll see what the next reality show recap will be. Okay. So we'll be back to my entertainment news, and we'll see what the next reality show is. Okay. Thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe, comment, share, hype if you're able to on YouTube, if you're listening on YouTube. And take care of yourselves. Self-care is very important. Do what you need to do for you. Stay safe if you are in the areas that are getting this big storm we're supposed to be getting. And until next episode, this is your girl, Rochelle.